Shalom. Parshat Tetze, this week's Torah portion, Deuteronomy chapters 21 through 25, is our Torah portion this week. And it opens with some pretty tough stuff right from the gate. Moses teaches in this week's Sedra that if parents have a defiant son who does not obey them, even after they have disciplined the child, they're to take him to the elders of the town, publicly declare their son to be disloyal and defiant, and the men of the town are then to stone him to death. Toto, we are no longer in love your neighbor as yourself territory in the Torah. Killing a child? The rebellious son, it is called the Ben Sorer Umoreh, is one of many sections of the Hebrew Bible that gives faithful readers of the Torah tremendous moral difficulty. It violates our modern sense of right and wrong. But here's the thing that's interesting. It also bothered the rabbis of the Talmud almost 2,000 years ago as well. So we're in good company. We find that they not only reimagined this law, but reinterpreted it to make it virtually impossible to ever carry out. A classic example is that the rabbis took the redundant words in this section, Einenu Shomea, a son who will not hearken, Bekol Aviv, the voice of his father, Uvekol Imo, or the voice of his mother. From that extra redundancy, they ruled that his parents must have identical voices. Talk about stretching the text. The rabbis even boldly declared this law was never acted upon, nor will there ever be a situation like this on their watch. I tell you, if I'm on trial, I want these guys as my lawyers. But it does beg the question. If so, why is the text even read anymore? Why didn't the rabbis just outright reject the law? Why the legal gymnastics just to preserve an ancient text that belongs to a tribal world long ago? The rabbis give us a very interesting answer. Drosh vekabel schar. Interpret it and be richly rewarded. I love that phrase. Interpret it and be richly rewarded. It goes to the hearts and minds of these incredible rabbis. They believe deeply in the holiness of our sacred Hebrew text, the Torah's revolutionary sense of justice. They love the Torah's love of humanity, its approach to life, and most importantly, what it offered the followers of the event at Mount Sinai. Yet, they also refuse to check their intellect at the door, nor their belief in mercy, kindness, and morality, principles they knew were the driving spirit and the bedrock of the Torah. So executing a child? Never. Yet, dismissing the sacred text outright was never going to be an option to them. To reject this section and other texts that were difficult was to risk shattering the value of the Torah for generations to come. True, this section is tough to swallow, but it's also in the same document that taught you to love the stranger, to feed the hungry, to honor one's parents, to protect the widow and the orphan. It contains difficult passages, but also houses our people's greatest treasures, our hopes and dreams. To reject this text would risk discarding more than an uncomfortable section. Instead, they ask us to reimagine the text. V'kabel schar, be richly rewarded for doing so. Keep the text, but be willing to see it a different way, to reimagine it, to see it through another lens perhaps, and preserve a sacred document that has given our people life. We will be richly rewarded, and we have been. My friends, in an age where sacred texts are ridiculed because of occasional passages taken out of context or without understanding, or worse, taken literally and used to inflict harm on others, there is something ennobling about ancient teachers of the past who long ago taught us that one can interpret and reimagine sacred words for the modern ear. Don't be afraid to breathe life into words that have guided our faith and allow them to remain a living document that will always inspire. Shabbat Shalom.